Gotta go fast.
Wait.
Or slow. If you hack it just right. No, wait.
We didn't clap or anything. God damn.
We just hit the record button. All right.
We don't know that we did it at the same time.
How many episodes are we going to do before we've mastered the no clap?
Apparently a lot, because Paul and I were way off sync earlier, according to him.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm not saying that intro again.
This is all staying in,
We'll
though.
do the clap.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Deal.
3, 2, 1. See, this is why I motored through at the beginning, to avoid the fucking mouse sounds. That's why we're doing this way. Anyway, welcome everybody to another episode of Press B to Cancel, your favorite podcast, at least till that other one comes out. Today, this week, we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog ROMhacks, which is, I gotta say, when I first, thought of this idea to do a thing on ROMhacks, I didn't realize how many there were. For Sonic specifically.
6?
But I'm not by myself. Oh no. Hold on, I'll get to you. I'm also joined by two good friends. Werewolf, how you doing, sir?
Hello.
And also, Pulse109, how you doing?
Aye. Hello.
Okay, you can talk now.
I said hello.
Say from Charms.
Hello. That better?
From Lucky Charms?
No, it's Blow Pop commercial.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez, that takes me back. Welcome, everybody, to Press B to Cancel, the podcast for people who are over 40.
I'm getting there.
Hold on, I'm
Not
peeking.
there
Give me
yet.
1 sec. You're not there yet?
Nah, 2 years
I'm
out.
there. I hit 40 this year. That was a fun time.
100% sexier, too.
Well, why, thank you. Tell my wife that.
Okay. Hey, sick wife!
Oh, no, she's not here. I banished everybody from the basement today. This week on Press B to Cancel, we will not hear my kids knocking on the door, my cat's meowing, or my in-laws dropping something on the floor upstairs. No. The house is empty.
What the fuck am I here for, then?
Well, I mean, you can make noises, too. I can't stop you.
Yes.
But we don't live in the same house. You know who lives in the same house together? Sonic and Tails.
Yeah! Sorry, I was really excited.
No. That's okay. Oh, I just got a text from GP. He says he can't join this week. Apparently, Cirque du Soleil is starting a new show in the Midwest, and they need people who can contort themselves into a pretzel shape and be comfortable wearing a mask. And GP's all over that. So, I was not their first choice. I'm a little offended, but I wish him all his luck in his future endeavors with Cirque for the next 6 to 5 weeks.
6 to
Is
5.
it a drumming show, too? Because is it like Stomp to Soleil?
Stop to Soleil. It's got to be. Maybe that's what it is. I can't drum. I have no rhythm.
There's a joke about him being salty for a pretzel. I know that much.
Yeah, but if he was here, he would totally make that joke.
Yeah, so.
We can't do that without being offensive.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to talk about ROMhacks. Sonic the Hedgehog ROMhacks. I played one. Wolf's played one. Paul has probably watched somebody play one.
No, I played
That's what
one.
you tell me for the last couple weeks.
I've
You
been
played
playing.
one?
I've been playing it. I was going to be playing it again for spite during this recording, but I decided not to. I'm going to be a professional.
Says the guy eating pizza 5 minutes ago.
Look.
That's okay.
Look, you need fuel for this kind of fire, okay?
Well, that's true. We do put a lot of energy into this podcast. At least I tell my wife this. All right. So, actually, Paul, why don't you go first? So, we all picked a different ROM hack and tried it out and came here to talk about it. What'd you play?
Okay, so I played a game called Kirby in Sonic the Hedgehog. But that's what the ROM hack was labeled on the website. But when you open it up, it's like Kirby Superstar. And I'm like, okay, but it has Kirby instead of, it has the Sonic logo with him, half sticking out of it, thumbs up kind of deal. But it just says Kirby Superstar. And I'm like, okay. So I was already kind of confused. But it's all good because, so you're playing as Jake's OP Pink Boy. B-O-Y. B-O-I. It's up to you.
Oh, he's the certified badass. Is this a Sonic Sonic engine, or is it Kirby engine?
This is Sonic, yeah. So
Okay, and which one? 1, 2, 3.
First one. So
Okay.
otherwise known as Sonic the Hedgehog, I believe. I've done research, I swear. So, so they nerfed him, so he's not the god, or at least demigod that he's known to be. At least, until Jake gets to the Sun and Moon bosses.
Like, you keep poking fun, but that game's hard.
And you know what? I don't care, because you've proved you can do it, and I'm happy. I'm proud of you. So that's part of the reason why I took this one. I was like, Jake doesn't deserve to do this, so I'm going to do it for him. So it worked out pretty well. You move much closer to Sonic. You don't float as much as you do as the Pink Boy, even though you're the Pink Boy. But there's a lot of different mechanics this time around. So you can't inhale to get out of jail free like you would expect, because it's just like, even if you don't get powers, you can usually inhale everything.
Do I know how getting out of jail involves inhaling? Maybe we don't want to do that kind of show.
Yeah, no, that's for the after hours stuff. But they definitely nerfed him for this one, because instead of just being able to like jump up in the air and take a big gulp and eat like 3 enemies at once, this time you have to stop completely and hold down before you can actually do it. There's 3 buttons, A, B, and C. And they all do the same thing as jump. Or if you're holding down, then you can do that. There's also a dash that I haven't figured out. He doesn't do the spin like I thought he would like roll like a ball, because he's round. But no, I was kind of disappointed. He kind of does this charge attack where it just boosts him forward, so you can get a speed boost out of that. But unlike Sonic, where if you're rolling in a ball, nothing happens. You're gonna be screwed if you hit an enemy. So you got to be really careful with it.
It's treated like a standing dash from like Sonic CD.
Yeah, so if you're holding still and not doing anything else, you can do it.
Right, because the original Sonic didn't have the spin dash at all, right?
Right.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
In some later compilations, there's an option to turn on the spin dash when you're playing Sonic 1.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Well, the trade-off for this one is that you can actually inhale anything that's on the screen. It doesn't have to be in front of you like by a few tiles like you do in this one. As long as it's on the screen, gone. But you got to be able to stop, hold still, press down, and then suck. So it's tough. Like it evens out, because you just stay there for a couple seconds. If the screen's full of enemies, dead. You don't have to worry about it. But it's not easy to pull that off when there's something creeping up on you and you're trying to. Got to go fast, So it's really tricky. It's really tough.
That's pretty wild. Because when you first mentioned Kirby and Sonic, I thought maybe it was just a sprite swap or something, like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking it was going to be. I was like, I'll do this. This will be cool. No, but they changed it up a bit. So this one's by Lone Star, it says when I open it up on the main screen.
No, Lone Devil.
Lone Devil, sorry. There we go. I don't know where I'm getting Lone Star. I swear I saw that when I just opened it up again.
Lone Star.
But yeah, so it's weird because you don't get that dash attack. You don't get to roll and ball. You don't get to be the glorified porcupine. You get to grab rings and save yourself from dying. No, you start out with 3 lives, and if you get hit 3 times, game over. There's no fanfare. You don't start the level over. There's nothing except for like, boom, you get hit, flash a couple sound. You barely have any iframes, and then you just look and there's 1 less health or 1 less life. But they're essentially health, and you have 1 life for the entire game. So I did not get very far. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so if you get a game over on 5th life, like you can get more lives, quote unquote, but it's not very forgiving in that regard. So you got to really be on your ball, and there's no continue, so you just straight back to start. Do not go to jail, do not collect 100 rings, something like that. Okay, bad analogy, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I struggled to get to the end of the 3rd level, or 1-3, I guess is what you call it, because I'm just that bad at it. It was tough. I managed to get like 6 health or lives, and I by the time I got to Eggman, Robotnik, Evil Jim Carrey, whatever you want to call him, there's a bit of a mechanic to how you hit him, because in the regular one you could just, as long as you're in the air basically and you jump on something, you're going to hurt him. And you don't have to like pop on their head like you do in a Mario game. This one, I don't know what it was. It seemed like it was half luck and half skill that I hadn't figured out yet, because for those six lives I had, it was 3 of them were managed. 3 of them I managed hits. The other ones were just I got knocked out, and the rest was me suffering trying to get up there again to hit him again. And it's the same boss, so it was tough. It was fun to see it in a different way, but at the same time, I'm like, I suck at the original Sonic. This is even harder, in my opinion.
So are the levels redesigned then? Because you don't have the full moveset of Sonic?
No.
Or is it the same stages?
I can't go side by side, but from what I remember, they're the same, because you start off, and they're like really short levels, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the exact.
It's Sonic 1, so Sonic didn't have the spin dash at all.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So you had to get a rolling start, like a running start, and then down into a roll to go through breakable walls. So Kirby can do that.
Yeah, and that's what you ended up doing. It was just tricky. And he did have that dash attack thing, so like you could kind of get that rolling start right from the start if you needed to go through the loops, because they did have the loops. And you couldn't fly. That was one thing I learned early, and I was really scared of, because it's get out of jail free, like I said, for everything else. No, you can double jump, essentially. You see him do the and he gets like puffed up, full of air.
But he only goes up like another computer monitor in height, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was just a little bit of an extra hop, and it'll keep you like from it'll get you out of trouble in a pinch. But at the same time, it's not Kirby. Like if you had these mechanics on Sun and Moon Boss, nobody would have beaten the game. So Jake, you know what? Don't play this. I'm doing it for you. Okay.
Well, it's funny because like the original Sonic, it's hard. I was playing through when I was going through mine. You're basically going through Sonic 1 as well, and the third act of every zone sucks.
Yeah.
Like a marble zone, you have to jump from. There's this one section where you're above a lava pit, and you jump from weight to weight to weight, and I fell off like 5 times. It's like
I believe it. I 100% believe it.
So make it Kirby mechanics, and it does sound difficult. It sounds really interesting though, and I'm kind of glad they went a little bit further with the mechanics of Kirby.
So Paul, I have a question. Did it have special stages?
Yes, and I don't remember I don't remember what they were like, because when I hear special stages, I think of Sonic running on like the globe, where you just go
Sonic
left and right.
In Sonic 1, it was the rotating board that was sort of like a pinball maze kind of deal.
Yeah, same thing. And
okay.
And yeah, and I did better by not doing anything but pressing the jump button at properly timed sections more than actually trying to go left and right. It's kind of like trying to control yourself in Sonic Spinball. You just don't. Just go where the game takes you, and you'll do really well with it.
I'm actually tempted now to look up YouTube videos of people playing this with all the Chaos Emeralds. Is there Super Sonic in the original Sonic game?
I thought that was 2 or 3.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Super Sonic originated in Sonic 2.
There you go.
Okay.
But one thing I was disappointed in though was the rings, because I liked getting 80, 90 rings, then getting hit, and then all you need is 1 to basically stay alive because 1 ring is the same as 99.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, in this one it was more like collecting coins, and that was another way to get lives, and that was it. So you don't get hit and the coins go, or the rings go everywhere. It's just dead. Or, flicker, and then if you get hit 3 times, dead. So it has elements of Kirby, but at the same time, it doesn't really have elements of Kirby. So it is cool to try, though, I gotta say. It's not for me, but that's mainly because I'm not a Sonic guy in general anyways. Probably because I suck at it.
They are hard as hell games, for sure. All right, so you recommend people to play it, or at least give it a shot? Cool factor,
it's pretty fun. Like it's if you're a fan of Sonic games and you just want to try something different, I think this one is a nice challenge and a nice little change, just for the fact is you have enough of a different control scheme that you have to almost relearn how to play it a bit. But if you're not a Sonic fan and you're a Kirby fan, you're probably going to be disappointed. This one's definitely made for the Sonic fans, and I like that. That much stands out.
I do love it because the great thing about Sonic hacking is there seems to be a really good community around it. You see a lot of innovations that one hacker will put into a game brought into other ones as well. Like ring counters, like the one I'll talk to you later on about, has a total ring counter and your current rings. So you have an idea of how many rings are left in a stage. And I've seen that in a few ROM hacks.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting.
Ooh.
Or like boss health meters and whatnot. There's people taking a lot of risks, and they do quite a lot in the Sonic engines. Like adding Kirby with all his mechanics is pretty damn interesting.
Yeah.
So Wolf, how about you? What ROM hack did you play?
Okay, so you guys had linked me to a website that was basically a repository of a whole bunch of ROM hacks. And instead of starting there, the rebel that I am, I went and used the Steam Sega Genesis collection.
We were allowed to do that?
And so I went and looked at the workshop and just sorted by like most popular ever. And 2 came up. And there were 2 that were relatively close to each other that weren't just like fixes of Sonic games, right? So one was Metal Sonic Hyperdrive.
Damn, I was hoping you were going to say Solid. Metal
And
Gear
then
Sonic.
the other one was Metal Sonic Reloaded, I think.
I'm stuck. Sorry, I'm already stuck in that Metal Gear Sonic. Can you imagine that, Jake? Tails? Tails? Tails!
Tails! Sorry, he can die.
Sorry.
So one was based in the Sonic 1 engine, one was based in the Sonic 2 engine. So I was like, all right, I'll start with the Sonic 1 engine one, right? And this game, interestingly enough, these are both created by Lone Devil.
Oh, okay. So that's how you do
why
to
I
correct
kind of
me.
know how Kirby works, because Kirby is a special character in the first one I played.
What?
Okay.
I tried playing through this game, and it took a lot of inspiration from Sonic CD. Now, I don't know if you guys have played through Sonic CD, but that game kind of gets really hard by the end.
Kind of like the first one?
I tried it Sonic CD, but I was pretty bad at it because we did an episode on Sonic sequels.
Yeah, Sonic CD is a lot harder than Sonic 1, like by a long shot. Especially by the end of the game, because I think it has more worlds than usual. And so the worlds start getting really, really difficult to navigate and a little more maze-like instead of just, find your way to the right. Sometimes you do have to backtrack quite a bit to find the right way. It's a pain in the neck.
Up and down, but eventually right.
Yes. So this game draws a lot of inspiration from Sonic CD. You can tell this guy is really into Sonic CD. The musical stylings that happen in this game seem very inspired by Sonic CD's formula for making music.
Which soundtrack? Japan or the US one?
I want to say the Japanese one. It's a little bouncier, a little funkier, a little weird.
Okay.
And the backgrounds are also very wild, vivid colors instead of just a more solid color scheme like you got from Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3. There was always sort of a theme there, and the colors didn't stray too much. Whereas in Sonic CD, you get a huge array of colors on screen constantly, and sometimes they don't really seem to fit together, but they make it work. Well, this mod uses that. It's very coloring book. Like there's colors everywhere.
When you say coloring book, I'm thinking of Yoshi's Island.
No, not like that. It's just lots of bright, bold colors. It's a Spring Yard Zone is the one I can think of that was the most colorful in the first game, even though it was a lot of pink and red and purple. There's just so many colors on screen in this one. I don't really know how to explain it more than that. It feels like they just tried to push the amount of palette they could show on screen at once.
Look what I could do.
It's a vomit of jelly beans.
But it doesn't look bad. It works. It's just not what you expect from playing a standard Sonic game usually.
Okay.
And then special stages completely gone because you're playing as Metal Sonic. So the plot behind this, for some reason, Metal Sonic is out to try and collect all the Chaos Emeralds and prove to Robotnik that he doesn't need other robots to help him. He doesn't need to be replaced. He is the best. He's going to go do all this himself, right?
He's the best around.
So you're going around destroying
The best that ever was.
Robotnik's other robots while you're traveling through the world. Like, all the bosses are Robotnik bots. They're...
Oh, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. The weird thing is, you even, at the end of the world after you beat a boss, you go and jump on the container that frees all the animals. I was like, why is Metal Sonic freeing all the animals? Didn't really make sense to me, but the emeralds...
Well, you figure it's like a catch and release program or something.
Yeah. So the special stages, since there's no special stages, getting the emeralds is a huge pain in the ass. It seems like on every level, at least Acts 1 and 2, because it's based on Sonic 1, so Act 3 always has the boss. Act 1 and 2, you have to find a computer screen that has an emerald on it. And then at the end of the level, you can grab the giant ring. I guess if you grab the giant ring, boom, you've got a Chaos Emerald. That's all I can tell that's how it happened. But and if you get 6, I guess he could become Super Metal Sonic. I didn't actually get all the way through the game because I found the game super frustrating by World 3. The difficulty was just through the roof.
Not World 1-3 like I did.
No. I was like, I think World 3, 2 is where I finally threw in the towel. I was done.
So are the levels designs different then, or is it the original
it's
Sonic?
completely original content as far as the level design.
Oh, good. Okay.
So that's why the colors are so wild, is because it's...
Made from scratch,
sometimes
essentially.
it's original sprite work. Other times it's recolors of sprites of tile work from other games, other Sonic games.
So I'm interested in the bosses then. So you said they were basically Robotnik's robots. Is it just a reskin of the original Sonic bosses, or are there different mechanics?
I want to say it's just reskins, and yeah, I think it's just reskins, but they have a few changed up mechanics, and they take like a dozen hits. It was way too much.
Yeah, I was proud when I got 3, so...
When I got sick of that one, I went and watched a YouTube video and saw a whole playthrough, and I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. At the end of that, it's like, hey, there's a secret. You could play as other characters if you push the C button on the title screen. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me try that. C button. You can play as Somari, which is Mario. You can play as Kirby.
That's the knockoff Mario, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's totally Mario. He looks like a little bit cartoonified Mario, but it's not like a low-quality Mario sprite by any means.
How would you spell this, Samario?
It's just Somari, Somari, because Somari is also another hack.
By Lone Devil?
By the same guy, yeah.
No, Samari is like a classic, like bootleg Sonic game, if I remember right.
But there's also a
I could be
hack
wrong,
that
though.
he did where you can play as Somari.
Okay.
And again, he changed up a little bit of the gameplay so that Mario has a move set that fits him, along with the rolling and jumping and spin dash.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty awesome.
If I'm looking at screenshots from Samari right now, it actually looks really cool because it's just a sprite that I haven't seen before, and if it's in another game now, I want to play that game.
I don't think it is. If it's in another game, I would imagine it's a GBA game.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like because it's got a lot more color to it.
That's all I can figure. So that's why I knew about the Kirby mechanics and all that, because I played a level as Kirby, I played a level as Mario, and then I didn't even play the others because it was like Sonic, Knuckles, Tails. I think Shadow was one of them. I didn't care.
Yeah, nobody cares about Shadow. And fuck Tails. Seriously. Just that.
Reloaded was a lot of fun and changed up the mechanics quite a bit to be something that was a little more fitting for Metal Sonic. Special stages are there. It's the 50 rings, cross a lamppost, jump in the sparklies, just like always. But the half pipe special stages, huge pain in the ass because every single checkpoint, you've got maybe 1 or 2 rings of leeway.
Oh, I hate that.
And so they're all very difficult. The cool thing is, with Metal Sonic in this one, your rings are a constant throughout the game. If you beat a stage with 85 rings, you start the next stage with those 85 rings.
Oh
Because
my god!
a lot of Metal Sonic's moves use rings.
Oh, like a power source.
Yeah, so if you take a hit, you don't lose them all. You lose about 10 or 20.
Okay.
So
That's
it's
a different way of doing things. That's interesting.
yeah. So he can get like a double jump where he, it takes 10 rings to do a second jump up in the air. He's got another move like a standing dash, I think. That takes 5 rings. He's got an overclock mode, which is kind of like Supersonic, and it drains your rings really, 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 really fast. And if you touch water while in overclock mode, it cools him, stops draining the rings. Kills the mode.
Ooh.
So it's kind of neat.
That's pretty wild.
Once you have all 7 emeralds, you can do the Supersonic change, which, if you'd go in the water, still Super Metal Sonic. The rings drain a lot slower in that mode than normally. And there's a little bit of a cheat to it. If you can get through the game without using a lot of his special moves, about halfway through, you've got 1,000 rings in your backup. And every time you beat a stage, you're getting 2 extra lives. Just because of the score counter.
I want in on this now.
So by the end of the game, I had about 30 lives.
This actually sounds like one I could play. I could actually beat this one.
Yeah, this one again, original content as far as the levels go. It's based in the Sonic 2 engine. And it's, like I said, it's just a lot more focused around the design of the levels. The level design is a lot better. In the original one, the level design was kind of garbage. This one, it was a lot more focused. The difficulty ramped up between levels instead of just starting balls to the wall hard. And then the final boss, for some reason, instead of the, I think it was the Egg Robo is what it was called in Sonic 2?
Yeah, the big Robotnik mech.
Yeah, Robotnik jumps into a Gundam, and you fight Robotnik in a Gundam.
Because of course you do.
Don't understand that. Don't understand why Robotnik is trying to kill Metal Sonic at the end of the game. Maybe because Metal Sonic has just destroyed most of his army. I don't know. Yeah, you destroy that. I did this at the last level as Super Sonic, or Super Metal Sonic, so it just destroyed everything real quick. The Gundam didn't even get to do its aerial jump and go off screen for a minute before I killed it.
Is there an ending?
Yeah, Metal Sonic runs out of escapes the Death Egg or whatever as it's exploding, and falls and lands in front of, or starts flying in front of Tails' biplane. And then it does that whole ending scene where the biplane is facing toward the screen and Super Metal Sonic is like, yeah, we did it. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. There's a bunch of happy animals and he's happy with Tails. And but it was fun.
Don't mention the T word around Jake right now, okay?
Look, that's just more proof that Tails is a vile, evil fiend that if, is not around Sonic, turns to evil with Metal Sonic.
Oh, GP's going to love that when he listens to that in slow-mo.
We'll fix it in post.
That was mine. It was a weird day because I played both of those today.
That's pretty wild. And I love how, so you play this on Steam, which for a second there we got to talk about. Essentially the Sega Ages games, I guess, in Steam.
Sega Genesis and Mega Drive collection lets you workshop game mods.
And it uses the Steam Workshop support. So it's basically Sega-endorsed ROM hacking, which is wild.
Yeah. Now there's certain people who are like, you know what, I'm just going to upload this other Genesis game as a mod slot for this game. And those get taken down routinely, as I understand it. They also get put up routinely. So, like, one of them was literally just the Toy Story game I saw today in the workshop.
Because that's what you want to pirate on Steam. This Toy Story.
Yeah, I literally could have just downloaded that, gone, and told it I want to play this mod, and it would have been the Toy Story game.
It's still great to see that Sega embraced ROM hacking in that way. Make it a little bit more official.
Yeah, I keep hoping that the Streets of Kamurocho, Streets of Rage... Oh, okay. I keep hoping that the Streets of Kamurocho, Streets of Rage mod that was released a few months ago will get a proper ROM hack on Steam.
That would be cool.
I'd love to see that, like more fleshed out with all the stages.
Yeah, instead of just stage 1 forever.
Yeah. Well, it's neat too because there's precedent too for Sega being so welcoming of that community. Is it Chris Whitehead is his name? He's the guy who eventually got hired by Sega to do the iOS version of Sonic, and I'm pretty sure he was a ROM hacker before.
Yeah, he made Sonic CD because like he basically just rebuilt Sonic CD in 2011 or something in his own engine, as faithfully as he could get it. The mechanics are a little different, but not too much. And then showed it to Sega, and Sega was like, "Let's publish it." So his fan work became official, and he got paid for it. And then he got to go on and make another studio, and Sonic Mania happened.
And like Sonic Mania as well has quite a bunch of like ROM hack inspired type things, multiple characters and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's Sega really embracing the ROM hacking community couldn't be more different than Nintendo, especially lately.
All right. Ugh.
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
Okay, so I kind of want to know which one you did. Based on what I saw, I think I know what it is, but I'll let you explain it.
Well, so for me, I keep telling people when they say, what's your favorite Sonic game? For me, it is always going to be Sonic and Sonic 3 locked on to Sonic and Knuckles, which is the weirdest thing to say, but it's very Sega. But when you put those two games together, it feels like an epic Sonic game that, for me, rivals Mario World. I like Sonic and Knuckles with Sonic 3 together more than Mario World, and people think that's like sacrilegious. Everybody says Sonic CD or Sonic 2. But I love the two games combined together. So when I was looking at Sonic ROM hacks, just, as you do, I saw one called Sonic Delta. And the goal there was to take all the Sonic games in the Genesis, put it all together in one giant game.
Ooh.
And the final game is actually 40 megabits, or like 5 megs. But what's really neat is they combined all three games, so Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Sonic and Knuckles, all in one game. It's built in the Sonic and Knuckles engine, so it has the saves and all that stuff. But it all fits in the same format, so it actually runs on a cart, or it'll run on an EverDrive, or on the Mister. So it runs on real hardware. That's where I think is wild about this.
Yeah, that's
I know other
cool.
ROM hacks do too, but it's such a huge game. But it's not. They did take some liberties with it because it is a Sonic and Knuckles engine. So when you're playing through the original Sonic games, you have all the moves of the later game. So you have Spin Dash, you have that double tap to shield ability, which I actually quite like, all that stuff. And for the special stages, so you were mentioned earlier, Sonic 1 has that spinny maze special stage. That's still there, but you can also, depending on the rings, when you hit that goalpost or that lamppost, you can get the gumball machine from Sonic 3. You can get the 3D tube from Sonic 2. Or I believe you can also get the sphere with the blue spheres later on as well. So there's a mix of the different special stages in this game, which I think is wild.
Yeah, I sucked at all of the Sonic games, but I gotta say the bonus levels were always a treat. No matter how good or bad I did on them, they were always satisfying.
Well, I like the shit on the Sonic 2 one, but that one's a lot of fun. The inner tube one, I think it's great fun, even if it is hard.
So there is a difference. I'm going to be the hard ass here, but the special stages are always the ones where you get the Chaos Emeralds. The bonus stages are the ones in Sonic 3 that you got through the lamppost.
Right, so you're right, I'm confusing the two. So it's the one, because you get the ring at the end, you get the Emerald stages, and then you get the lamppost, you get the bonus stages. You're right.
Yeah, so in Sonic 1, it was get 50 rings, get to the end, cross the sign, giant ring, you jump into special stage. In 2, 50 rings, pass a lamppost, jump into the swirlies above the lamppost, special stage. In 3, 50 rings, pass a lamppost, jump into the swirlies, you get a bonus stage. And then you had to find giant rings hidden in the regular levels, just here and there, to get the special stages. So how did they do that in Delta?
I didn't get that far. No, if you get the certain number of rings at the end of a stage in Sonic 1, you do get the big yellow ring and you go through. And it was Sonic 2 Emerald inner tube stages at the end. The bonus stages, though, when you hit the lamppost, it was a mix. And it was a few times I got the gumball machine, And then I also got occasionally it's the glowy sphere one where you have to like spin around them and shoot yourself up with the pinball flippers. It's a weird one. But what's neat about it though is if you're playing Sonic 1 first in the game, because it's all three back to back together as one giant adventure. But even though it's Sonic 1, you'll see power-ups like the shield and the running shoes, and right. But you'll do a bonus stage that's from Sonic 3, and you'll get the fireball shield. And you can use it in Sonic 1. It lets you fly around with it. So you can't get the power-ups from Sonic 3 in the map in Sonic 1, but if you get one in a bonus stage, it carries through and it works fine, which I think is wild.
So then my next question is, did you make it as far as Sonic 2?
So here's what ended up happening. Because Sonic 1's hard, y'all. Like, it's really tough. I think I made it to the Spring Yard. Is that the red zone?
Yeah.
I think that's as far as I made it in Sonic 1. And then there is a cheat code for this one, thankfully. It's a hot tip. Up, up. Down, down. Up, up. And up twice more. And that gives you a stage select. And you can pick from any of the 3 games, or 4 games, stages. So I jumped around a little bit, because what is also neat about this is it includes, I didn't realize this, Sonic 2 had a lot of cut content and missed zones that were taken out of the final release. Things like the wood zone, there's an ice zone, there's a desert zone, there's another hidden palace zone.
Oh, it reincorporates the content that was cut.
Yeah. And
interesting.
Some of the graphics of like the wood zone, it's kind of ugly. I can see why they cut it. But it's still neat that it's there. I don't know how much of this was pulled from beta ROMs or how much was made from scratch. At least a good amount of it was done from scratch based on screenshots and magazine, pictures of the old games. Mm-hmm. But it's neat that they add all these zones to the game. Sonic 2 is actually quite large when you include all the cut zones, and it's all there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was an old Nickelodeon show called Nick Arcade, I think.
Yes.
And there was an episode where they got to play Sonic 2 early. And even in that, I think there was some differences because it wasn't the final game from what ended up releasing.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of the names of different of the zones. Like there's one zone I remember. It's the oil zone. And I remember that one because I believe that's the one that was brought into Sonic Mania, I want to say. Because Sonic Mania was kind of a respin on all the old games.
Yeah, I think Oil Ocean Zone is in Mania. I haven't played Mania, but I've watched a lot of content on it.
Oh, there's a re-release version with like 6 characters or something ridiculous. I've been meaning to play that version, but I did play the original. It's pretty solid. But I mean, for this one, in terms of characters, it does have Knuckles. I like Knuckles a lot. You can also, I don't know why you would, but you can do Knuckles with Tails. Seems like a recipe for death, if you ask me, but it's there. And like, I only hate Tails because he tries to murder you at every opportunity. Just, and like you're in the Sonic 2 stages, the inner tube. And you think with the second body that he'd pick up some rings for you? Hell no. That son of a bitch.
He gets hit by those little spikes all the time, right?
Yeah. He's hitting the mines.
If you're playing as him, I like him. If he's following you around, yeah, I can see why you're throwing shade.
Like my kid's like, Daddy, why are you so upset about this game? It's like, because Tails murdered me again, honey. Tails just out to get me. Tails out to fuck Daddy. That's what it is. And I wouldn't use that language, but you get the idea.
In the original Sonic 2, he wasn't that bad because he couldn't pick Sonic up.
Yeah, you're right. It's Sonic 3 is where he became a terror.
Yeah, in Sonic 2, he was fine because he'd be able to kill enemies. He'd be able to grab extra rings that you missed. And, if he got hurt, no big deal. He was invincible for the most part. I think even his second player.
He always comes back if you're playing 2-player.
Like, he can die and then he'll come back like 30 seconds later, 20 seconds later, something like that.
But like I was playing this before the podcast, and there's a few spots where he gets stuck in a pit, and I could keep going, but I just wait. Just to watch him die one more time. I can't stand. I hate him so much. There's there's a level in Sonic 3 with the balloons, and there's these red cylinders where you have to kind of rock up and down, and I hate him. That son of a bitch will grab onto Sonic and pull him off, screwing your momentum. I've had that happen more than twice, and it's just every time he gets in the way.
Interestingly enough, that was one of the sections that I mentioned in the worst of the best episode with GP.
Did you?
I did not know how to figure that out, so I gave it an honorable mention. Took me years before I understood that you're supposed to hold up and down on that thing.
Yeah, well, they don't give you any tutorials on how to work it. I remember my uncle had that game, and he had to bring it to me to play, and she figured it out. And even it took me a few lives, but no, I avoid tails.
No, I never figured it out. In order to beat the game, I started using the level select to go to the very next stage.
Oh, jeez.
It was very frustrating that I could not figure that out. I was like, I'm really good at this game until here.
Until here.
But yeah, Sonic Delta is pretty solid. I mean, I didn't get a chance to play through the entire thing because it's literally all 4 Sonic games in a row. But I used the level cheat to skip through some of my favorite stages, and it's a real treat. Like Sonic 1, Sonic 2 is also really difficult. But something about, being able to bring those power-ups into the game is nice. Having Knuckles with tails, I guess, if you're into that, is interesting. And it kind of carries the whole story through. And it's also, I'm a parent, I don't have a lot of free time. So I can't really sit down and play Sonic 1 from start to finish a lot of the time. So that's another reason why I like Sonic 3, because it has a save system. Mm-hmm. So this lets me play a few stages in chunks and then quit and come back. Right? So I'm not using save states or anything like that. So it's a pretty solid game. I'm pretty impressed with how much is there. And it's something started in 2015 as a prototype. I want to say his name is Nito. And then he came back to it just last year, 2020. And he's been doing updates on this like mad all throughout the year. And it's pretty substantive. Like there's a lot of Sonic gameplay. It's at the point where if I wanted to play through all 3 Sonic games again, I would use this. I wouldn't bother with the original game anymore. Just because of the quality of life and control improvements in 3 that I like so much. I like having those in 1.
I might have to give this a shot just because I'm curious about the special stage stuff.
Yeah, see, I don't know how they handle so many Chaos Emeralds. Because there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah. I will say Sonic 1 is still a hard one for me, but I don't think Sonic 2 is all that hard. I had it down to a point where I could get Super Sonic before the first boss.
See, I'm like that with 3. With 3, I knew where all the rings were. I got all the sphere thing. I was like Zen-like state, picking those orbs up. But Sonic 2, I get cool and the thumbs up in that first round, and then after that, forget it.
Look, I couldn't get past 1-3, so
Games are hard, man.
anytime that I can get something that'll help me get through it, maybe I'm gonna give that a shot now.
Yeah, the save system in it is really solid. And for anybody who hasn't played Knuckles, this is the cool thing about Sonic and Knuckles, is you can bond it with Sonic 2 to play as Knuckles in Sonic 2. So it's kind of neat to kind of go back, if you have not done that already, and play Knuckles through the old Sonic games. It's a blast.
Yeah, I was really disappointed when you couldn't play like Night Trap and stuff as Knuckles, because that's what I was looking forward to with that extension cart, whatever you want to call it, adapter.
Well, I mean, Knuckles has already got a rap sheet a mile long, so why throw him into the kidnapping of Night Trap game? That's not fair.
Yeah, this is true.
Although I could see Robotnik working those cameras.
Yeah.
In regards to playing the games back to back, I think Sonic 1 and 2 are supposed to be like a good chunk of time apart, but I think 2 and 3 are back to back.
Not back to front?
I'm trying to remember. There's not, the thing with Sonic games is there's not a lot of plot. They don't really give you
No,
much.
there's not, but like I'm pretty sure when Sonic 2 ends, you destroy his death egg or whatever that he's got in the sky. And I'm pretty sure Sonic 3 picks up because they're going to where the death egg crash landed on Angel Island.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because the intro has you on the biplane flying, and then they crash land on that island.
And then, of course, Sonic 3 was always meant to feed straight into Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah. Well, it's meant to be the same game originally.
Yeah, so basically those 3 games are back-to-back content.
Yeah.
As one ends, the next begins. You know what? I always kind of wanted something like that out of a Mega Man game.
Oh. Can you imagine that boss rush, though?
Now I'm curious, and I have to look up and see if there's anything like that.
Look, I heard you complaining about Mega Man 3, okay? Just imagine having 1 to 6, but like that.
Yeah, but you know what? If you get to Mega Man 3 and you've got the power-ups from 1 and 2, Doc Robots could suck it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the hardest thing about that was trying to figure out which new weapons to use on the old bosses, essentially, because I was like, oh, crap. I know I'm supposed to use this on... Oh.
Can you imagine that diagram of what beats what? It's like
But
rock, paper, lizard, Spock.
Yeah. It's like 10 by 10 grid.
But I mean, if you've got the power-ups from 1 and then the power-ups from 2 and you're going through 3 and you've got the power-ups from 3, you don't have to figure out which thing they're weak to. You already know from 2.
I'd still be like, okay, Skullman, hold on a second. I got to look at my mind palace. What beats you? Give me a minute.
Most everything in 2 was Metal Man, honestly. But
Yeah. What do you use wood for? Nothing.
All right. Well, I think that's an episode, everybody. Wolf, where can folks find you?
they can find me streaming currently a couple days a week on Twitch at WAREWULFF. Google it. Tell Google you meant it. You'll find me.
All right. And Polish, how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Chatterbait at Big Furry Bald Guy. I mean, wait, no.
That's other podcast.
That's another podcast. Shit. Secret's out. Okay, so no, you can find me at twitch.tv/Palsh109. That's PALSH 109.
Right. And I'm Sick Jake. You can find me mostly on Twitter, mostly posting videos of random button pressing, apparently. That's what I start doing now.
Never forget the shit posts, all right?
Yes, constant shit posting. Although in the year of 2021, suddenly that's, things are brighter. I don't know why. All right,
Newsdays
folks.
got a lot slower.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, I also want to mention our Patreon. Paulsh and I recorded a bonus for Patreon for patrons who give to the Patreon. And I don't think we have any amount to it. It's just like, give what you can. Period. Give what you're comfortable with, give what you're happy with, whatever. And monthly, we're going to be doing an episode that's just the one we recorded today was along with the 1982 film The Thing. And Paulsh and I basically recorded commentary to listen to while you watch The Thing.
Yeah.
So we had a fun little discussion about the movie while watching the movie.
It's definitely a fun time, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it. And Jake, you got to pick a movie to tune soon. Very soon.
Actually, if anybody has suggestions, hit us up on Twitter and the Instagram. Movies you'd love to hear us, talk over. Unlike video games, I don't trash talk many movies. I actually like movies.
Put it to the test, everybody. Come on. Let's do this.
I'm just thinking movies now. I'm thinking Masters of the Universe. I could watch that again.
There you go. I will watch that again.
All right, folks.
I mentioned Princess Bride at the end of this one.
That's a good one, too.
I've never seen the whole
That's
thing.
pretty decent. All right, folks. Thanks very much. That's been Press B to Cancel. We'll see everybody next week.
Gotta go fast.
Special thanks for music. Go to Arthur the Last Ancient on Spotify or The Last Ancient on Bandcamp. For more episodes, please visit our website at pressbtocancel.com. As well, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you'd like to listen to your favorite shows. As always, thank you. This has been
Press B to cancel.
Press B to